Hi everyone, I'm Jay Fadden. Thank you so much for joining us today on This Is the Day. So good to be back with you today. I was not with you Tuesday, but it's good to be back, Father, and I'm thrilled because we have a fantastic show.
We do, and it's great to have you back, Jay.
Thank you.
And it's great to have Heather King will be with us, author of her third book, a memoir, Shirt of Flame, coming out on the feast of Saint Therese, our patroness here at the Catholic TV network. And also, right here in the living room, we're going to have Declan and Carmel Waters, pro-life activists from Ireland, and they're going to be right here with us in Boston and for the whole nation and even in Canada.
I hope they show this rosary they brought, but that's, just a little teaser. Kevin, What will we hear about in the news today?
Jay, lots of news out of the Vatican today. We'll let you know about a meeting the Vatican officials had with the Society of St. Pius X. Also, the Pope met with recently ordained bishops at Castel Gandolfo, and the Archbishop of Rio de Janeiro talks about World Youth Day 2013 coming to his archdiocese. All those stories ahead in the news. Jay?
All that and much more right now on This Is the Day. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Jay Fadden. Thank you so much for joining us today on This Is the Day. I'm joined by my wonderful friends, Kevin Nelson and Father Reed, who I missed very much. How are you doing?
I am in an excellent configuration. I haven't
Feeling
said that
good?
for a while.
Feeling good? You know what?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better, and I have a special thank you. I want to thank all the staff at Norwood, Caritas Norwood in Massachusetts for the kindness that they not only showed me,
You've
but
been hanging
all
out there a
patients.
little bit.
Been there probably a little too much. They're probably sick of me. But I have to tell you that a lot of times when something happens to us, we always say, where's God, where's God? Well, you look at these people and the love and care that they gave to me and so many other patients, and you can see God in them, in the work they do.
And I got to tell people something. I went to visit
You
Mr.
did.
Jay Fadden
You did.
at the Norwood Caritas Hospital, and I walked in, and guess what was on TV? That's right, you guessed it. Catholic TV.
Catholic TV. What a great resource, though. I have to tell you, I prayed the rosary with you.
There you are.
I prayed the rosary with you, and it was nice. It was very comforting to have it there, but just a special thank you. I hope right now in Norwood there's a nurse who's in one of the rooms, and she's hearing this, because to all of you, thank you. What a great vocation that is.
It is. To be in healthcare is so critical for people. And you know now, and we all know when we're in that situation, you perhaps know very, very well. And a lot of those intentions behind me in the prayer box, those people know very well. And that's why we, as a community of faith and of prayer, remember all of these people. We had Jay in that prayer box too. So it's great that we're always praying for these people who are in need.
I'm laughing because I saw you put actually a picture of me in the prayer box. But you talk about the prayer box, which is over here to your left.
Right.
I like it over there because I can see it the entire show.
Right underneath the crucifix.
And someone called me at my house, and they asked that I put a 5-year-old in there. His name is Luke, and he's not feeling very well. So I asked that all of you remember everyone who has an intention in there, some for themselves, some for others, and in a special way, remember Luke. Because when there's a child who's not feeling well, it really tugs at your heart a little bit. And you're a powerful prayer community out there. You're extremely powerful, and prayer works. So make sure you say your prayers. And I guarantee you what's going to happen. I'm going to get some letters. And thank you, by the way, for all the letters from people who wrote when I wasn't feeling well. But I'm going to get letters, people praying for Luke. And I'm going to make sure that I share those with the parents of Luke.
I wish you would.
Yeah.
And speaking of prayer, tomorrow we're going to be all praying together here on the Catholic TV network with 15 men who will be ordained to the permanent diaconate. And I, as a priest in parishes where I've been, every single parish I've been, we've had a permanent deacon. And so I have a very particular excitement I'm feeling today about being at the cathedral tomorrow for that ordination. And that'll be live at 10 o'clock tomorrow right here on Catholic TV.
People don't realize the commitment that these guys make. I mean, not only does the husband have to go, but if you are married, the wife has to go too to some
the
of
whole
these classes.
process. Yep.
Yeah, it's a very hard process, very rewarding though.
And one of the things that they learn is of course, along with theology and pastoral practice, is preaching. And our own Father Dan O'Connell host of the longest-running program here on the Catholic TV network, We've Got to Talk, is their professor, their teacher for
I didn't know that.
homiletics. Oh, yeah.
Well, he does a nice job at that.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he gets lost a lot, all the time. So
He
I'm
does.
driving and I'm lost. Well, what
No,
we're
he
not
does.
lost with here is our letters. And you have the first one. What do you have over there, Father?
Eileen has this to say to us in a very beautiful letter. Thanks, Eileen. She says, I'm one of the hundreds of regular viewers that derive untold comfort from the daily Mass and the Rosary. I'm entering into middle age on September 4th. I will be 88. I guess middle age has changed. And I'm happy to be upright and on the right side of the grass. You and your staff are achieving the impossible with your programs, improving on perfection. Eileen, I'm glad you have entered into middle age. I'm glad you're on this side of the grass, and we are achieving the impossible just to put up with Jay. That's it.
You are achieving that. Hey, I know what she means about that rosary, see? Because it meant
There
a
you
great
are.
deal to me, too.
You do.
Halfway to 176 years old. So, good for her. This is
Little
from
hint.
Mary. We always love when we get something from Mary. And Mary writes, I hope you and everyone at Catholic TV had a nice Labor Day weekend. I don't know how you can improve, but I'm looking forward to the new schedule. God bless you all. You are a wonderful team. And Mary, you know how we improve? We improve by getting letters like yours, people who take the time to tell us what they want to learn and what they need to know about their Catholic faith. Because the more you know about the Catholic faith, the more you're going to love it. And we have some great new programs. I think Bonnie and Kevin talked about those on Tuesday.
I like that. The more you know about your Catholic faith, the more you're going to love it.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
It is true.
Despite what they say.
Well, you have to understand
And they will
it.
say
you
it.
know.
Now, Julie writes this. I think this is about Kevin Nelson. I enjoy your programs very much, especially the Mass, Rosary, and Going My Way. I never knew there was so much talent there. You may be in Hollywood someday, and that's for you. I think she's talking about Kevin Nelson.
I would say that, but I want Kevin to know that you said that. Usually he thinks or people think I pick on Kevin. Well, that was you that
Kevin
time.
Nelson.
This is from, Gertrude. There's a old-time name. Always liked Gertrude.
Bring
know
it
another
back,
Gertrude.
I say.
Thank you for all the great programs on Catholic TV. I especially love the Memorial Month for Father McFarland. He had the most soothing voice and comforting words as we prayed the Rosary. Your visits to different religious places during the mysteries of the Rosary are wonderful, and we have been all over the world, and we will continue to do that because maybe you or me or Father or everyone else, we can't get there, but through the magic of television, we can bring you there.
It's magic.
If you would like to, I knew you'd sing at some point during this program. If you'd like to write us, it's real easy to do. You can write us at Catholic TV, 34 Chestnut Street, Box 9196, Watertown, Massachusetts, 02471, or you can email us at thisisaday@catholictv.org. Love to get your letters and your emails, and always remember to support your local Catholic television station, wherever you're watching this, because they need your support and it makes a difference in people's lives. Well, joining us now is Heather King. She appeared on This Is the Day way back in December of 2008, and we are pleased to say that she has written her third memoir, Shirt of Flame, A Year with Saint Therese. So, Heather, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. It's great to hear a New England accent.
We're
trying to
Los
hide our
Angeles.
accents. What do you mean?
Where are you calling us from?
From L.A.
Oh.
Father, you know what? That's Father Reed's favorite, by the way, just so we get that out of the way now. Heather, thanks for joining us today. Saint Therese is a good friend to Catholic TV, the patron saint of Catholic TV. What did you learn about Saint Therese and yourself during your year?
Well, as people may or may not know, Therese's spirituality is now known as the Little Way. And what I learned was that the Little Way refers not so much to doing little things for God, although that is certainly a beautiful thing, but as to the fact that by ourselves we're too broken and weak and small really to work up any kind of love for the people around us, many of whom drive us crazy. She was in a cloistered convent with a lot of nuns who were, as all human beings are, just a little bit not quite what we might like. And I think Therese's genius was the capacity to receive love, this huge capacity to receive love, and from that to exercise charity, and finally, in a sense, be love. And as for myself, I think I learned in a new and deeper way that we're just not given to see the fruits of our inner and outer work here on earth. I think we really want to see the fruits. And I just learned in a new way that we do the work, we open our hearts, and then we give the work to God, and He does with it what He needs and wants.
Heather, this is Father Reed. Great to have you back on the show again. And you know, you're preaching to the choir here when you talk about Saint Therese, because I find her to be just a wonderful friend, not just for me personally, but for all of us here at Catholic TV. For you personally, though, what can Saint Therese teach you? What can she teach all of us?
Well, Therese was a contemplative, she was a mystic, she was a solitary. And one major thing for me is that she leads us back to the Gospels. She read very little besides the Gospels. She was in a cloistered, austere convent. She burned to be a saint, to be a martyr. She knew she could not do great deeds in the convent. How was this going to happen? She went to the Gospels, and she found in St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, this makes me cry. She said, "Charity gave me the key to my vocation. I understood that the church had a heart and that this heart was burning with love." And she said, "I will be the heart of the church." And so she didn't complain, she didn't rail, she didn't tell her Jansenistic sisters in the convent they were wrong. She gave herself to love. And I think in our culture that is so violent, that's so consumer-oriented, this is a message that we can't hear often enough. Go back to the Gospel, see what Christ felt about consumerism and greed and self-righteousness and violence of any kind, all of which we're all so prey to. So like Christ, Therese radically transcended both the left and the right. And I love that the authentic radical Christian comes in so many different forms. And in this case, in this very young, beautiful, cloistered French nun who died at the age of 24. And she was a radical, steadfast, fierce. Again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I love the paradox. I just think she's such a paradox of all of our faith, which burns with love, and that doesn't mean meek and you have to be a warrior, but for love. And also she had a sense of humor. I love that about her. Her superior said she's a comic, she's a mystic. She'll have you rolling on the floor laughing one minute, she'll have you weeping the next. And this too, I'm very, very drawn to, as I think we all are.
Well, Heather, congratulations on completing Shirt of Flame, your third memoir, which is expected to come out close to St. Therese's feast day, actually. Where can people learn more?
They can go to Amazon. I have there's both a page for Shirt of Flame and an author page. They can go to paracletepress.com, and they can go to my blog, which is Shirt of Flame, one word, .blogspot.com, and there's all kinds of posts on there about Saint Therese and all kinds of things, the
Great.
writing life and our faith.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for being with us today. And, you know, we just keep having, you're a regular. You're on as much as I am, and that's a good thing.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored.
Have a great day now out in L.A.
All right. You
Bye,
too.
Heather.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Kevin, how you doing over there?
Good, Jay. How you doing?
Good. You look good. You know, you're just looking sharp. It must be the fall's coming towards us. You've got some fall colors on. You know, you're making me happy today, and that's a good thing.
I try to stay seasonal.
Kevin, what's going on around the world in the Catholic faith?
All right, thanks, Gene. Father, hello, everyone. It is time to take a look at the news, and we begin with news from the Vatican. The Vatican is offering the Traditionalist Society of St. Pius X a second chance to move toward full reconciliation with the Church. It released a formal doctrinal preamble listing several principles the Society must agree with in order to achieve this. During a meeting at the Vatican, U.S. Cardinal William Leveda, prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, gave the preamble to Bishop Bernard Fillet, head of the Society. According to Vatican spokesman Father Federico Lombardi, no deadlines were given to the Society, but leaders are expected to study and sign the preamble within a few months. Also discussed during the meeting were possible elements of a canonical solution for the Society after the eventual and hoped-for reconciliation. Father Lombardi speculated that the most likely solution would be a personal prelature, which is a church jurisdiction without geographical boundaries designed to carry out particular pastoral initiatives. In other news from the Vatican, during his weekly general audience at the Vatican Audience Hall, Pope Benedict XVI said while praying in the midst of suffering, Christians must remember how God has loved them all their lives and will rescue them. He used Psalm 22, one of the most prayed and studied psalms, as an example of how to cry out to the Lord from a position of trust. Rome Reports now has more on the Pope's remarks.
During the general audience, the Pope talked about how faith in God can help people overcome hardships. The Pope reflected on Psalm 22, which deals with the feeling of abandonment by God. It's actually the psalm Jesus prayed on the cross.
Despite such adverse circumstances, though, the psalmist's faith and trust in the Lord remains. The psalm ends on a note of confidence, as God's name is praised before all the nations.
The Pope highlighted that the psalm is included in the Passion of Jesus because the cross itself is the highest symbol of faith. Roughly 8,000 people attended the general audience. The Pope called on all of them to pray before the Virgin of Sorrows, especially with her feast day approaching.
La croce di Cristo e l'esempio di Maria, Vergine addolorata, illuminino la vostra esistenza, cari giovani. Vi sostengano nelle prove quotidiane.
The Pope also noted that Education Week is being celebrated in Poland. The Pope blessed the pilgrims from the Slavic country in a very special way. He also said society as a whole should take on the responsibility of providing a good education for the youth.
Looking now at news from around the world, Rio de Janeiro is hosting World Youth Day 2013, and the Archbishop says that by sending the event back to Latin America, Pope Benedict XVI is calling the world's attention to the region's Christian past. Archbishop Arani Tempesta said the region's Christian roots are being lost little by little to the false belief that they are a secular country. He feels World Youth Day will help reaffirm their commitment to help the world, Brazil and their city, to become better and better. The last World Youth Day in South America was in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 1987. The event for 2013 is scheduled for July 23 through the 28th, giving the Archdiocese less than 2 years to organize. On Sunday, the symbols of World Youth Day, a cross and an icon of Mary, will arrive in the country and then travel through Brazil and 4 other South American countries. The World Youth Day theme for 2013 is Go, therefore, and make disciples of all ye nations. More news now from the Vatican. When the Pope met with about 120 Latin and Eastern Rite bishops ordained in the past year, he focused on the role of a bishop in educating Catholics and how they need to work with their congregation and other lay groups. His address came near the end of a 10-day course designed to give the bishops theoretical and practical information about their role and their new relationship to the Vatican and its congregations and councils. Rome Reports has more on this meeting.
These bishops were named within the last year. In a private meeting, they met with Benedict XVI at Castel Gandolfo, where they were asked to reflect on their mission and responsibility as they take on their new role in the Church.
Perché possiate con serenità saper ascoltare ed accogliere ciò che lo Spirito dice alle Chiese e condurre tutte all'unità della fede e dell'amore.
Above all, the Pope also highlighted the need for bishops to work together not only with their congregation, but also with different movements and lay groups. With unity, said the Pope, one's community will be even stronger.
Il Vescovo, come voi ben sapete, non è un uomo solo, ma è inserito in quel corpus episcoporum che si tramanda dal ceppo apostolico fino ai nostri giorni, congiungendosi a Gesù.
The Pope concluded by saying that the work of bishops, both in their lives and in their diocese, should be an example to other priests in their communities. For the last 10 years, the Congregation of Bishops has invited newly consecrated bishops to Rome so they can reflect on the responsibilities and even challenges that may come in the future.
And finally in the news, well, good news for all you tourists and pilgrims heading to the Vatican. They are now offering bus rides through the Vatican Gardens. The new bus tour is sponsored by the Rome Diocesan Tourism Agency and the office governing Vatican City. Tickets cost about $20 and include a 1-hour ride with an audio guide available in 5 languages, including English. However, for those who want a tour, go early because the eco-friendly rides on a methane-fueled minibus will not be offered in the late afternoon or early evening when Pope Benedict XVI strolls in the gardens as he prays the Rosary. The Vatican Gardens opened in 1279 when Pope Nicholas III moved the papal residence from St. John Lateran to the Vatican and had workers plant fruit trees, a lawn, and a formal garden. Well, that is all the information we have here on this Friday, September 16, 2011. Let's go back over to Father and Jay with more of This Is the Day.
Kevin, as always, thank you very much.
Spectacular.
Spectacular, just perfect. Joining us now is Declan and Carmel Waters. They join us here on This Is a Day, and they are traveling from Ireland to share their pro-life, human life work and experiences. Guys, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's our
Really
privilege. Thank you very
appreciate
much
it.
for inviting us.
Everyone sees this big case. We're going to get to that in a moment because it is spectacular, spectacular. But Declan, tell us what got you started to speak out for the pro-life cause. So important.
Well, first of all, we're lay Dominicans, and 26 years we've been in this ministry. We have a prayer meeting every Friday night in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and the names have changed for that particular prayer group. So we were in charismatic renewal prior to that, and then when we joined the lay Dominicans, we started promoting the Holy Rosary. And then we became involved in pro-life because it was basically a big issue in Ireland, and we didn't want abortion in Ireland. I had been outside abortion clinics in England, and I knew what was happening. So we had we don't have abortion in Ireland, by the way, north or south. And the amazing thing about it is that in the north of Ireland, Ian Paisley, who is, as you know, anti-Catholic, anti-Pope, and he is pro-life. And so are the other politicians, Presbyterians, Methodists. So they all joined together, and the whole of Ireland, we do not have abortion at this present moment. So everyone in Ireland needs to be involved in abortion and in pro-life, against abortion. And I became involved about 26 years ago. But that's how I became involved in pro-life.
Carmel, you know, we love our children, we love our families, we love each other so much, but yet sometimes the pro-life message is so hard to hear. What have your experiences been?
Well, I counsel girls that are going for abortions. We haven't got abortions in Ireland, but they go to England. And a lot of it is girls are not educated. They don't understand that the baby is in the world. I always tell them when the baby is in the womb, it's already in the world, you know, and to accept the baby with joy. A lot of it is ignorance, to be honest.
It becomes education,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
It should start in the schools. In the, you know,
Abigail.
my own daughter was dying. She married a Filipino doctor. She lived in America, in Chicago. And when she became pregnant, she got hyperemesis. And she was being fed on a PICC line through her heart.
Okay.
And the baby was due in May, and on the 9th of January, we were called to Chicago to say our daughter was dying. We must come immediately. And she had 7 teams of doctors. Her kidneys failed, her lung collapsed, she was on a life support machine. And that really made me pro-life when I see how strong babies are. And we thought we were going to be there for 2 weeks, but we ended up for 6 months in Chicago.
Wow.
Because it went from one extreme to the other. Then she lost her eyesight, the fungus went into her gallbladder, and the baby kept in there. He was waving out on the scan. A beautiful baby, absolutely. And at one stage, the doctors were trying to tell her if she didn't have this baby, she wouldn't have the problem. But when she came off for the life support, she kept saying, "Save my baby, save that baby." And she was so tiny, you couldn't even see her bump. She was such a little person. And that made us so strong. You know what I mean? The baby just was so determined, and he was so strong and so beautiful. And you know, you have to accept every pregnancy with joy. It's the greatest joy.
And a gift.
A great gift from God.
Exactly.
It's a
You know what I
gift.
mean?
A miracle.
A total miracle.
In fact, they did say it was a miracle because when she survived, when they found out what was wrong with her after they had medical detectives working on it, they found she had rare fungus in the blood. And they gave her medicine that had never been tested on humans, only on rats. She was anointed several times, and they kept telling us that she was going to die. But we said no. We trust in God. We trust in the merciful Jesus. We trust in the mercy of God, the never-ending mercy of God. And we were praying all the time. And the people in the chapel and all around the prayer groups in Chicago were praying for her intention. She was a young girl, 23 years of age, expecting a baby and dying. She survived. And they said, the consultant said, this is a miracle when she survived. But then they said the baby, they may have problems because of the medication. And to expect that the baby would have huge difficulties. They prepared them for that, and they brought them to a children's hospital with all these complaints. However, she came to have the baby, and she took a seizure, and they had 3 minutes to change the medication. But however, the baby was born through a cesarean section, and they gave it a score out of 10. So it was 9 out of 10. The baby was perfect, and it just shows you how the placenta barrier, and this was very important because they talk about all the things that can go through from the mother to the baby, and they're talking about diseases and different chemicals. But when you look at the power of the placenta barrier, you see then that with this medication that was only tested on rats, not on humans, it was so powerful it protected the baby. Now he's 10 years of age at the moment, and 1 day a week he goes to university.
So
he's a clever kid.
He's a clever kid,
Going
and a great
to
gift to
university.
all of us.
Yeah.
Declan, you also have some pro-life trailers. Tell us about the response to those.
When you say pro-life trailers, you mean?
The trailers you have. Don't you have some?
Yeah, we do have a trailer.
Oh yeah.
And our car.
Oh yeah. Oh, we do have
Yes.
a trailer. Yes, God is pro-life, and when I formed you I knew you before I formed you in the womb. Don't
This is
use
the island
oh
American
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Don't use me for spare parts, that type of thing, with that lovely, beautiful baby. We drive around with this trailer around the country to get attention. And usually, I've stood in 4 general elections every 5 years for the last 20 years as an independent pro-life candidate. You know, it's a platform to speak on television and on radio for the pro-life.
Well,
I've been doing that.
We're running out of time. Carmel, where can people who learn more about promoting the rosary for pro-life, for the unborn? Where can people learn more?
Where can they learn more?
Yes. Is there a website?
Oh, yes. We have our own rosary, the Rosary of the Unborn, if I can show you this. It's the new sacramental for today, to feed the
And they can
times
go
we're living in.
ProLifeHumanLife.com.
Yes.
But this is a
It's a very
teardrop,
special
and in the
rosary.
teardrop is a baby. Now, this rosary led us to this
This is what
rosary.
I'm dying
Yeah,
to
we've
see.
got to we've
There's
got
a
a minute
whole
left.
story.
Sorry.
Okay.
So
This rosary was, I worked in water crystal, I'll tell you briefly, and one day while in the workplace, there was a dull day, there was a flash of lightning, and in front of me was suspended this beautiful crystal rosary.
You saw this.
I saw it suspended, my
sure.
eyes were open, the people were moving in the background, and I was looking at this beautiful rosary.
the only one, by the way.
Yes.
And it's made out of Waterford crystal.
crystal,
I want to
yeah.
get that in.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today, bringing this rosary. And we'd like to thank you and all our guests who are on this today. Thanks for your affirmation and support. And know that all of you, as I close this, are in our thoughts and in our prayers.
And it's been wonderful to be with you as always. We ask God's blessings upon all of you this day, and be grateful, we should be, for the gift of human life, that miracle that God has given to each one of us. And may Almighty God bless and protect you and those you hold dear, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you so much for joining all of us here in the Catholic TV living room. We love coming into yours. Until next time, everyone, God bless and have a great weekend.